Okay, so let's rock and let's roll. The Captain Madam Shelton here for another live podcast on YouTube and Twitter. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you on YouTube and Twitter. So I wanted to talk about this because I haven't talked much about this situation that happened. Um, and it's one of those things I did not understand the backlash of just one tweet that basically I was moving out of my position in Saitama, and I did not realize it would just be such a big deal. And the biggest thing on there that I really learned was um, not everything needs to be broadcast. And then because it can cause, FUD emotions, people can really react in a bad way. People, can really, they can start making bad decisions, things like that. I basically was off the hip. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna just do this. And I didn't really think about it. I didn't think about it. I remember talking to Gail, my wife, and I remember telling her about it. And she actually warned me. She's like, I don't think you should just tweet that out because you don't know who's watching. You don't know how that will involve people's positions. And the thing about it, I didn't really mean to, I didn't mean to, but other people are not gonna really say that. They're gonna be like, listen, you said it, and then that's what happened. So with the Saitama event, I went to Saitama event, had a good time, met a lot of good people there. And I was excited the whole time, like a lot of people were. I'm telling you, the Saitama had people really, really believing into what the vision was, because the people there was so excited about just the whole vision, now, future, today. And so to me, I left the event thinking, okay, even though things are changing, let's just say it that way, I was like, I'm going to continue to hold. And so I did. And I saw a little bit, but not much at all. And then at that time, I was already transitioned to Shinobi. Like I was already transitioning to Shinobi because I was liking what they were doing. They were getting things started. They really wanted to really put themselves out there. So at that time, I was already positioned to Shinobi. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to add Shinobi to my portfolio. I started doing breakdown videos on Shinobi and Saitama, and I still was on Shiba. Those are the three main ones in terms of the low cap. And then all three of them end up doing really well at some point. So I came back from the Saitama event. I was optimistic, even though I was kind of a little disappointed. I'll be honest with you. I was disappointed. But here's the thing. It was on me. I put this on me because they kind of let you know what was going to happen. You're like, we're not going to release a lot of things. And so, but I got myself all hyped up thinking all this is going to happen. And I had a good time. Met a lot of good people there. Man, Crypto Empress, make say Tom Vern at the time. Now he's Crypto Vern. Let's see, Zach Austin, Zach Humphrey, Austin Hilton, Hinnock, a bunch of people were there. Mike Thompson. The list goes on. So it was kind of more of a reunion. And I'm thinking, all right, maybe they'll have another event. Because at that time, they were thinking about having another event, release all that stuff. So I came back being optimistic, and I start hearing things. About Saitama. I start hearing things. So I was like, well, nah, that can't be possible. So I kind of ignored it. I ignored it for a while. I was like, nah, they really are they're doing their best, and they're trying to get things going. And then I just kept hearing more about it. I kept getting messages from different sources and things like that. And I was like, nah, I'm good. But that was just adding to my position on other projects. And the main one was really Shinobi at the time. And they were just really, really, they were really getting things started. So I was trying to help people to not necessarily sell they say Tama. I was trying to say, hey, you may want to check out Shinobi. They really are doing really good. And then a little bit after Shinobi, that's when Shiba Doge got things going. And Vault was around that time. Vault was around that time too. So it was actually a really good time, really, to get in some really solid communities at that time. So you had Shiba Doge, Wolverine Inu was really rocking at that time. Vault was getting things going. Ishiba was still there, obviously, and then Saitama was still there, regardless. So that was a good time, man. We haven't had that really in a while, where you had some potential juggernauts all around the same time. I think what you have now, you have a lot of potential, good communities, and obviously the market has a lot to do with it. The market has a lot to do with it. I think the market was a little bit better. You probably would still have, some really, you would have those similar numbers. If the market was up higher, you could have those numbers there. So I was at on Shinobi, and I was like, all right, I kept getting negative feedback from Saitama. I kept getting it. I wasn't getting any positive feedback, but I was like, man, you know what? You can't tell me nothing. I was like that. I was sitting there. I admit I was naive. I was a little naive. I'll be honest with you. And because I ignored it. I was like, nah, Saitama, they ain't going to be doing that. They legit. They're good. They've got really good leadership. And at that time, they had a lot in the community. And then all of a sudden, I started getting stuff, and I actually checked it out, and I was just like, is this true? So I didn't really get the answer if it was actually true. I didn't necessarily see it at the time. Then all of a sudden, I start seeing things that I did not like, and I was like, maybe I should just quietly exit out. But I think for me, I was disappointed on, I let other things get wrapped up, and I just like, you know what? I'm just going to send a tweet, pull out. So I was basically, listen, I'm just going to take my stuff, move it to Shinobi. And at that time, my mom was really sick at the time. So I was like, man, I can use those funds to help out with her. So I think my mom family was getting sick, and I had a lot of Saitama at the time. So I was like, maybe that was really the reason why I did it. But I also was kind of disappointed. But my mistake was is that I ignore what I was feeling ever since the end of November. Nothing against Saitama, nothing against them. I got nothing really necessarily negative to say to them. I think other people do. I don't have anything negative to say, but I always felt like, if you're feeling something that you need to make a decision, not off what people are saying, but maybe stuff that you're researching and finding out, and you're like, all right, maybe look into this. Maybe I need to add to my position, or I need to hold, or I may need to go ahead and start, liquidating my position. So what I made a mistake was I didn't necessarily research it, early on. And I just kind of like, nah, that was my mistake. And that's not a good decision, where you're just making decisions off the hip. Oh, somebody said this, that kind of thing. And so, so what happened was I just basically I just had a moment of weakness. Now I wouldn't say moment of weakness, but I didn't think it through. I sure didn't think it through. I'm like, I've been hearing all this stuff. I've been seeing stuff. I'm just going to go. So I just sent out a tweet. I was like, man, I'm out. I appreciate it. Thank you. I thought it was going to be over. I thought, send that one tweet, the rock the boat. I thought, I'll send this out. Maybe nobody would notice. I was like, I don't think anybody knows. That's what I thought. And man, whoa, that day, it was so much feedback, so many emails, tweets, text messages. It was crazy. I had to literally call Verizon. I had to really call Verizon and ask them to, I may need to change my number. It was so many text messages. It was crazy. I don't even know how. It was just so many messages that really would happen. And I'm not here to bathmouth Russ or anything like that. To me, I should have looked into it, and I should have just quietly done something. I should have quietly, but put it out there. You putting foot out there. I think I wanted people to think for themselves. But I didn't realize if I'm doing it, then other people could be influenced to actually kind of do that. So for me, I made a mistake because I should have looked into this earlier. I ignored it. And, if you don't feel good about something, then you need to make a decision. If you feel great about something, you need to make a decision. I should have did something earlier about it when I was getting the feedback, good or bad, good or bad. In fact, my friend that I was talking about yesterday, he's the one who was like, you need to look in Saitama in the first place. And I added to my position at that time, but I didn't back up the truck up on Saitama. I didn't back up the truck, and I could have, but I got more than I did on Shiba. But I made a mistake then because I should have dug more into it at that time and just backed it up. But I was hooked up on Shiba. I was hooked up on there, but I didn't back up the truck. But I got a good position in Shiba. I was very blessed. Very good position. I did like breakdowns. I think one of them I went from 2,000. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think at one time, like a $3,000 investment went all up to 200,000. It was something like that. I think it was 20,000 to 200. It was like $2,000 to $5,000, literally a couple of thousand. That sucker went to 200,000, and this was before the event. So I was like, wow, this is crazy, But then it could have been a lot more, but I didn't listen. And I did that yesterday of not listening. I'm listening now. I'm more into listening, researching. Yes, I still make mistakes. We all do, but I do. But I also, done better, I should say, overall. So when I sent out that tweet, I didn't think any of it. And then the feedback was crazy. Some were thanking, some was hating, some was death threats. There were, we're gonna come by you, we're gonna cut. It was bad. It was horrible. Because I think what it was, people who died and loved Saitama at the time, they weren't hearing all that because they thought it was fun. And so, but yeah, I mean, it was the backlash. I think I should have not. I said something. I was like, listen, I'm out. I'm out. And I didn't even think about it. I was sitting there and she's sitting there by me. She saw me write this. She saw me write the tweet. I'm sitting here like, and I'm like, man, I'm getting the hell out of here, man. Because I was getting all these negative feedback. And I was like, I'm getting the hell out of here. And then maybe my mindset was thinking maybe other people could look into it and make a decision. Man, you kidding me? People were hate mail. It was a bunch of hate mail. I appreciate it. I hate you. All this. And it was crazy. But I felt like it was something that I felt like something that needed to be done just in a different type of way. And then when it happened, it was just backlash. So what I end up doing, I even tell you what I end up doing. I took some of the funds and I didn't exit completely out of my position at that time. Most of it, yes, but I still had some. So I put it in as Shinobi because Shinobi was just getting fired up, man. It was still early. Oh man, it was still early. It was before Shinobi went to, to there. And I saw it. I'm like, I don't want to miss this train. And I took some of it. I went to go help out my family. And it was helpful, help my family out, was helping out in terms of the medical and anything like that. So it was a blessing there. But I didn't think I'd get the backlash on it. And I wasn't really necessarily thinking of how this would look. But I wasn't thinking how it look. I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking how it look. I was getting hell out. And she was right behind me. And she's like, do you think you should plus send? And then at the time, I didn't have it, on Twitter where I upgraded Twitter to like Twitter Blue at the time. And what happens is they give you like 30 seconds to undo the tweet and all that kind of stuff. So I have that now, but I didn't have that before. So when you press send, that's it. Or you just delete it or that's it. So I left it there because, I didn't think people were really, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I sent it out there. Who cared? But it was at the backlash. Some people was really hurt, crying, saying, well, you hate me. I hate you. You're trying to fun and all this other stuff. And, you're not here, but it was a lot of backlash. So, and, But I look back, I was like, I'm good now. But at the time, I was looking back at it and I was thinking, man, I probably should have did that better. I probably should have did that differently. I should have did that a little bit different. That's what I was saying. But I was feeling something, but I didn't completely exit out of my position. I still had some in there. And I realized it brought people, thinking a different way. I think somebody says, do you think YouTubers like not feel badly for giving advice that has caused people? I think with him, it was different from him. I can't speak for Hinnock, but I know he was a huge advocate for Saitama at the time. I can't speak with him. I think he was excited about it, and I'm sure he was getting positive, negative feedback, and I think he just believed in it. I mean, I think he at the time really believed in it, and then eventually he made a decision on his future with Saitama and other things like that. So now he's kind of doing his own thing, and so yes, Saitama is an amazing asset. However, at the time you saw it, it was a right because the decline was intense. It was actually. It was fighting that intensity line. They still had a pretty good large amount of holders. It was declining, but then also it was people were still buying into it. Like you couldn't tell anybody, and to this day you still can't tell people. The diehards, the OGs, the diehards that's still in there, you still can't tell them. They'll be like, "Oh, this was fun," we're gonna. And honestly, you have to do what's best for you. Honestly, I respect the people that, if they believe in that asset strongly for themselves, I actually have respect for them because, hey, that's what you believe in. And my thing was, I think I was getting the negative feedback for a while. I just ignored it. I'm like, nah, it can't be. And I didn't look into it. Then finally I started looking into things and I'm like, maybe I should, and that was my mistake. I ain't looking this early enough. And sometimes just don't marry your crypto. Definitely love your community because I think a lot of these projects are community. The biggest utility is the community. A lot of times people, and that's what Saitama had. They had one of the best community. Oh my God. They still have a good community, still do, like it or not. They still have a community. But I'm saying is, a lot of times when it comes to community projects, the best utility is your community. It's not necessarily all these bells and whistles in utility. That's fun. Staking is great. NFTs is awesome. All these different things that the utility is. But none of that stuff works if you don't have community and you don't have a way of bringing new holders and community members on a daily basis. None of that stuff matters. So none of it absolutely matters. When it comes to a lot of these projects that you guys follow, the best thing is the utility. Obviously, the dev team has to be legit. They gotta be. You can't be a bunch of scammers and trying to rug pull a bunch of people. And I think that's what Vault actually. I look at Vault right now. They have a solid dev team and a crazy good community. That's why Vault is what they are. It's not necessarily, exchanges and all that kind of stuff. That actually helps it. But they're going to do what they're doing. They're $100 million market cap in these conditions. You imagine what they're going to be when things do starts to improve. I mean, who knows? So, and that's what Saitama had. Shinobi had that as well. I'm definitely going to do a video of a Shinobi. It's not going to be bashing anything. It's just based off my experience. I had a lot of positive experience with Shinobi. And I still love Shinobi. I still like Shinobi. I like what they're doing. And I like the fact that they're kind of cut their supply. They're becoming a big, powerful brand. That's what they are. Love it or like it. I know they're becoming a powerful brand. Shinobi News. But anyway, that's another conversation because I definitely got some things I want to explain with that as well. So what Saitama was the tweet went out. I sat there. I went to go have something to drink. I sent the tweet out. She was behind me. She's basically saying, I don't think you should do that. I'm like, nah, I'm doing this. So I did it. And I went to go have something to drink, went to the bathroom. I came back and was just woof. It's just all these tweets and all this coming out. People were freaking out. Oh, what are you doing? Man, so then I read a few of them. I'm like, damn, should I not do it? Should I? And then I thought about erasing. I'm like, well, it's already out. It's already out. You can't, I mean, and then it doesn't make yourself look good. You made it and then you deleted it out. What are you really saying? And then it's gonna be all this stuff going on. So I was like, let me just leave it out there and just whatever happens, happens. And took the money, helped my family out, and I took the rest of them. I moved that thing in Shinobi, and that market cap was low at the time. And I was like, Shinobi is going to do well early on. And so, but yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did. And then, so my thing was, it did rock the boat. It did ruffle some feathers. It did brought some attention, but I felt like I needed to do it. I wasn't trying to cause fun, but it was fun, to be honest with you. Let me just call it what it is. I'll keep it real with you guys. It was fun, but not in a necessarily on purpose, but it was fun because I didn't think about it. I just sent it out. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to send this shit out. Whatever happens, happens. And that's what I did, you know? So, and then they rocked the boat and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah. And so, I moved into Shinobi. I remember I got into I think Shinobi was even defending for me because they were like, yeah, man, you know, I'm trying to go back and watch one of the older, younger videos where I think I went into their Telegram and they were like, hey, don't worry about all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, this is really, really serious. I think this is really serious. And to this day, man, people are still tweeting me about that tweet. To this day, I still, every once in a while, in a comment or a video I did on something, it'll be like, hey, man, you know, good or bad. Sometimes be like, man, I'm glad you did that. I was able to make a decision. Some people said, based off your decision, I added more because like, hey, that was the dip I was looking for. That's what some people were saying. Some people were like, listen, homie, when you send that, you know, some people sold, like I loaded up. Some people were sending me, they loaded up and then they end up selling later on and made a little bit extra money. That's what they were saying. And then you have people saying, you dumb motherfucker. They were saying they said anything on the rainbow. Some things I don't think YouTube and Twitter can really take, you know. It was a bunch of stuff. But I took it, man. I took it because, you know, it's what it was. Now, was it fair? It depends who you're talking to. At that time, I really didn't think about it. I didn't really care, to be honest with you. I didn't care. And brother, you was blocking people for talking about Saitama. That honestly, that was not me. That was family members that I had I did block some, but most of them I didn't even block. They were because I had some people at the time that were controlling my Twitter at the time because it was so much like positive and negative. So they were blocking people left and right. So it wasn't all me. To be honest with you, it definitely was not all me. I did block some people that was really overly aggressive, but then I had like family members that you could say they wasn't having it, which I don't think that was the right thing, but I later on found out that was going on. So I ended up like on some of them I did reverse it, you know, just having an opinion, thing like that. But if it got so bad, I was like, I meant on that. But things that were a conversation or it wasn't like too bad, then I went back and unblocked them as well. So, but because at that time, Saitama was like that was the project at the time. Other than Shiba and a few others, in terms of community project, it was Saitama for a little short while. It was, you know, and you couldn't tell anybody. People's names were called Saitama Ed, Saitama Jennifer, Saitama King, everybody's their name was in there. There were so many Saitama in that person's name. Still is to this day. Still is. So I'm like, God dang, all the Saitama names in there. When you have the name of a project and then a name, then you're entrenched. You are really are entrenched into the vision, into something within that. And I had there was a lot of names, Saitama and this, saying I hate you. They're like, Saitama John, I hate you. Then say Saitama Douglas, I hate you. And Saitama Ben, screw you. Saitama, hey, go to hell. It was just like, it was Saitama and this man, go to hell. Saitama this name, fuck you. Saitama this name, I'm gonna load up based on what you said. It was just boom, 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 boom. And I get emails, and then people were going through the old videos and saying all this other stuff. It was crazy. It was crazy. But as in Saitama now, I mean, it seems like I can't speak so much about it, but the things I've seen, man, it hasn't been that bad from what I've seen. But now I haven't entrenched myself into. From what I've seen, it hasn't been that bad. Now I haven't dug into it, but they're still moving, and they're still building over there. I mean, like it or not, I'm just letting you know I'm seeing from afar, seeing from the far. So Jasmine, oh, what's going on? Is it Austin Hilton doesn't say anything about Saitama anymore, so really not listening to any more about this going. We just don't know what's going on behind the scene. Yeah, and one thing I would say, what I really learned, because I was getting information from people that they wasn't part of the team, but they were people that that were big holders in it, and they would send me stuff, and I would be like, nah, I just actually ignore everything until to the point where, listen, I gotta do something about this. I gotta do something about this. What will be exciting you for not pumping into the next bull run? I have no idea, because I'm not really close to it, really. I mean, I don't know. They may have something in store where, that maybe they may have something in store where it will, maybe they will. I have no idea. What they had before, they had community. Because at the time, they didn't have utility. When they were really pumping, they just had community and then speculation. We're going to get on these exchanges. We're going to have all this volume of different sources. So they had speculation, and then they had community. And then Saitama had people talking about Saitama that was not even in crypto. See, here's the thing, guys, and I covered this the other day. When you made it, the time you make it is where the person that's not even in crypto or doesn't even invest into low cap coins, they're talking about it. And then when you get in media or something, that's when you're like, we got something here. We just can't fuck it up. We just can't fuck it up. That's basically what it is. Shiba had it. Dogecoin had it because they had the media, the hype. Media was talking about, people was blowing it all up. Elon Musk was tweeting all about the Doge and all this other stuff. Brought that motherfucker up. Now it's 13 billion. Can you imagine Dogecoin, $13 billion market cap? $13 billion market. And you go to the website, it's nothing. It's nothing. The website is nothing. What to this day is 50 people on YouTube, and there's about another 100 on Twitter. All right. To this day, can anybody tell me what the hell is Dogecoin? What is it? You're gonna say it's a meme project. That's what I'm saying. So, but they had Elon, and then the media, they had all this stuff. They didn't care about no damn utility. That's why I said the biggest and the best utility when it comes to these certain projects is the community. You get people to believe in something, they're gonna boom, they're gonna jump in. That's what happened to Shiba. Shiba had nothing, guys. Shiba was nothing. When people been talking about, I need utility, roadmap, I'm like, listen, dev team doesn't need to be a bunch of scammers, and you need to have a strong community to hold the floor, to go out there and recruit and go out there and really represent your community every day. We're getting holders in from Discord, Telegram, Twitter. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what Dogecoin did. That's what Dogecoin did. Dogecoin's like, I'm going to do this. And Saitama was on the way. So Saitama in you. When I invested into Saitama, or Saitama, I used to call it Saitama because my friend called it Saitama, so I call it Saitama. It's called Saitama in you. Remember Saitama in you? Or Saitama in you? Saitama was on its way. And I think for me, I was like, I was ignoring the negative. That was my fault. I admit. I was like, nah, they can't be this. It's not like that. But Saitama was on the way, and I'm sitting here like, wow, dang, maybe Saitama could be that Shiba and that Dogecoin at the time, because Shinobi Vault, Shiba Doge, Wolverine, they were just starting. They were just starting, so they wasn't ready. They weren't ready for that heat yet. They weren't ready, but they were building that community. They were building that community. So, and then I was like, man, what if they do this? You know, that's what I'm saying. The best utility is the community when it comes to the community projects. Now, if you Avalanche or anything like that, Polygon Matic, it's not a community project. It's more of a blue chip. It's more about the technology. Now it's all about what you represent do. But these community project is about the community. They can tell you anything. You join a project, they ain't got no utility, nothing, but they got thousands of people because everybody's believing in something. You know, you can't tell them anything. So absolutely. So let me read some of the comments. Facts. Buy the rumor and Saitama sell a drink. They get a job, man. They have people, man. They have people in their hands. Yeah, a lot of people, including me. I meant facts. Saitama was on his way to big. They were, man. They were, man. They were. Everybody. It seemed like if you was in crypto and you was involved in a low cap meme type coin, Saitama, you probably owned some of Saitama. Either you owned it or you knew somebody did or you used it. There was some relation. It was kind of like Shiba in a way. It wasn't Shiba, but they were climbing up there. And yeah, they were. I cringed when watching the Vegas party. I feel like a fool of it. No, listen, it's a learning experience. I had a good time at the party, and it was actually, I think they say Tama, the I wouldn't say the issue, the actually facility itself. The nightclub, it was too big. It wasn't big enough. I'm sorry. It was not big enough. It was a small nightclub in Vegas. It was too big. Saitama was bigger than that. We should have had like a bigger room, lights, stage, but I don't know if they realize how they're like. I don't know if they realize like this thing is pretty big. Like there was a lot of people there. People flying in all over the world for that thing, man. Waiting in line. I mean, I don't know if they realized how big it was because a lot of people was there. They're waiting in line and they were trying to get into this small, dark nightclub. It was a dark, small nightclub, and it was really built for a small community, like a small community. There was a lot of people there, and everybody couldn't fit in there comfortably at all. Like you couldn't fit in there. But I don't know if they realized that these motherfuckers coming, and they came. People was coming. I'm changing the world today. You should have saw it. And some people probably was there. I was in line because I was recording it, going on live. You couldn't tell anybody in that line that Saitama was the one. Like it was a VIP room for nightclub. Exactly. Oh, Justin Man, what's up? Yeah, he was there too. Justin Man was there. You couldn't know. It was like it was too small and it was too dark. So when you walked in the room, you know, I couldn't really see, and it was loud a little bit, and it just wasn't a social area. But I think when their mindset probably was, we're gonna go ahead and party smaller. They were thinking small. I think they were thinking small, and we're just gonna party it up and do this thing. I don't think they realized there was a long ass line of people trying to get in this motherfucker. And then when you got in, it was just dark. You couldn't see anything. Not very well. And then it was like, I remember it was more, I was just trying to find a space to just kind of hang out. But I was kind of bouncing around in the dark. I should have brought my flashlight in there. I was just kind of bouncing around, kind of like, hey, a little bit. It was a lot of people coming in there. And everybody's waiting for like the big news. Everybody was like, we're here for the big news. And but honestly, the positive was the relationships and the people you met that you conversate on social media and different things like that. So that was a bright spot. And in cryptocurrency at the time, you didn't have anything that was a specialized event for a project. Yes, you had the Bitcoin event, but it's really, they didn't have like a party. They didn't have like, all right, Saitama, we're going to have an announcement party. So that's one thing I would say Saitama did a great job of saying, we're going to create an event just for us, have some announcement. We're just going to party. And probably one of the top 3 or 4 cities you're going to do it. I mean, I would say if you're going to party like that, Vegas, listen, Vegas is definitely one of the places you want to do that. Miami, Vegas, LA, New York, Atlanta. I mean, come on. Those are places I would choose, probably those areas, those cities I just named. And maybe Dallas, but I don't know. Vegas is on the top of the list. So yeah, let's see. Vault have never seen a bull run and never been born a bear in it. Yeah, Vault has not really seen a bull run. Actually, not only Vault, a lot of these like Grove Token. I'm seeing some representatives in here. It's a lot of the actually projects have not really seen a real bull run or even like half of a one. Man, I'm telling you, some of these projects that's alive and still producing, they can go bananas. But my thing is that you got to bring that attention to your project. You got to get the average investors to saying, I want to come in and be a part of that. And that's what Saitama did, because you had people that wasn't even involved in crypto. They knew about Shiba, Dogecoin, and Saitama. Those are the 3 they knew about. It was not in that order. One of my neighbors down the road, he knew about Saitama. He was like, yeah, I got the Saitama. He was calling the Saitama still. I got the Saitama and that dog, and the dog called the Hiba. He called it the Hiba. It was called Shiba. I got the Hiba and some type of wolf, Saitama. Never knew about vesting, and he's like, no, this is my first one. I got my Saitama. And he heard about I think he heard about the Saitama. Somebody told him. I think he heard about the event. I didn't tell these people. I did tell some of my neighbors, but the guy down the road, he called it Saitama and the Hiba. He knew about that. And he knew about Dogecoin, but he didn't buy Dogecoin. But he bought Shiba. Actually, that's what he was calling it. And Saitama Wolf. That's what he called it. He called it Saitama Wolf. He's like, I got the Saitama Wolf. I got my 1 trillion. He bought 1 trillion. So he had a little bit. I got the Saitama Wolf and the Hiba. I like the Hiba. And then I didn't get Dogecoin. He said, I didn't get Dogecoin. And I remember asking him, like, do you have anything else? No, I don't know about nothing about Bitcoin. I heard about it, but I don't own it. He's like, I own the Saitama Wolf, the Hiba, no Dogecoin. When you have somebody like that don't even know anything about crypto, but somehow he got this in his wallet, which I still don't know how he did it because he never heard of it. Somebody, probably his cousin or somebody told him about it. But he has Saitama in there. He told me he had 1 trillion. He's like, I bought 1 trillion. I bought 1 trillion. I took some of my savings and bought 1 trillion of Saitama Wolf and the Hiba. That's what he said. Yeah, he called it Hiba. And I tried to correct him. I was like, it's called Shiba. No, it's Hiba. It's Hiba and Saitama Wolf. That wolf is going to be on fire. That's how he said it. I mean, I'm probably mispronounced it. Sorry, but that's how he said it. Like the Shiba, the Hiba and the Saitama Wolf. It's really going to explode. I cannot wait. But he never owned no other crypto. He's like, no, I don't even invest in anything. But I heard about it and I feel good about it. Why? He felt something. Maybe the community, maybe the hype from the media, maybe someone said, hey, buy it or die or whatever. I don't know. I'm just joking about that, kids. If kids watching this. But he bought it. And I'm telling you, and he came back. In fact, he came back. He sold. He like, I sold 500 billion. That man pocketed. My man pocketed. He walked there with some profits. Yes, he did. He bought it before, I think a little bit way before the event. He bought it way before, and then he sold. Yeah, he sold. Yep. He took him. Yeah, he sold. I don't know what he has now, but he sold it. Because I came back to him later on. He's like, I made amazing profit. I saw one of your videos. He did say he saw one of my videos. He's like, I saw one of your videos. I made amazing profit. But yeah, he bought the Hiba and the Saitama wolf. But just saying this, the little wolf in there. But it's pretty cool. Adam, I challenge you to check out Sata Pro and take a look at the 132% gains from Sata Realty this week and give your feedback. Oh, okay. See, this is what they're doing. They're doing all these different things. I'll check it out. I'm not necessarily I just need to check it out. Because I don't want to say, hey, I checked it out, but I really didn't check it out. All I'm saying, that tweet rocked the boat. It did draw the attention. I was like, shit, I should have done this differently. I just felt like I needed to do something. I felt like I gotta do something. I gotta tell somebody something. That's all I'm saying. I should have probably told my neighbor, but he already knew what he was doing. He's like, he already knew, I think his wife told him to sold. That's what I think. Our wife was always in his face all the time. Always in his face. The wife probably sold it. I bet you the wife sold it. He didn't sell it. Probably. I don't know. Wife probably said, listen, we getting the digits. We getting the money. So, but yeah, it was cool on their end. Sending a tweet out. Should have did it differently. Probably should have looked into it earlier. So, just letting you know about the tweet, and just want to go in here and explain that as well. But what's up, man? Baby Doge is ready to explode the huge community. See, they have a huge community. Now, Baby Doge came in a little bit later after Dogecoin. Somebody was smart, like, listen, we're going to do a Baby Doge. And you think about it, a lot of these baby communities, Baby Doge is really the only one that I know of that is like still going, like they're relevant. So watch out. Baby Doge, actually, they could really do some things because they've got they got a big community, and they actually got real utility. They actually got more utility than Dogecoin does. Baby Doge have more to offer in terms of other than community, because Dogecoin still beats them in community. It's still bigger, but Baby Doge got everything else. Dogecoin just got Elon and the tweets, and they're good. Elon could be like, listen, I'm going to go ahead and type in Doge father. Send that thing from 5 cents to 15 cents. It's amazing how much power. It's amazing how people just follow, man. These tweets, I'm going to tweet Dogecoin father. Everybody and their mom somehow saw it and bought a bag of Dogecoin. It's just amazing. Amazing. Had a huge opportunity with SNL appearance. He basically turned into a joke. I've got a story to tell you about that too. I got a story to tell you about that. I got a story to tell you about that. I'm going to tell you that next week. So be back. I got a story to tell you about the whole thing, the SNL appearance, Elon Musk, the whole thing. And I can tell you some people that got seriously burned. And it was seriously burned. Yep, burned. Like they bought at the top, and then it didn't go the way they wanted, and they put in thousands, like thousands. Thank God it was being. Whew. I thought about loading up a little bit before it, but I got like a small bag of Dogecoin back in the day, so I didn't really get to that point. But yeah. Doge Chain, I need to look into it more. I know they're uploading some, they're listing projects on the chain, so I just need to look into it more. But hey, if it's going to help other communities and ain't rug pulling and ain't causing problems, then why not? Elon word was gold back then. It's still gold. That man can say, Vault in you is nice. Vault will go from $100 million market cap to maybe 200. Who knows? It's still gold. It still is. It still is. It really is. And it's impressive. It's like he holds so much power, and people just follow that, man. And but Vitalik too. Vitalik, he's been getting kind of he's been getting on there, start saying stuff, saying different things, and then hey, if the project you own, he said, it may be a fun time for you. So Vitalik's another one. What he says, people just go for it. They just do. They just do. Why? I think people want to follow. I mean, people follow the money. They're probably thinking, oh, he said something. Maybe this means something. And then let me go ahead and invest into that. It happens every time. Every time. But I mean, I built Dogecoin basically. He started saying Dogecoin a lot. And they say Tom actually, they just build a community. Had a lot of people that own SHIB. A lot of people who was in Shiba that might have missed on Shiba, they moved into Saitama. So Saitama had a really good bridge of, all right, we're going to create this situation here, and we're going to have a place for people to come if they got their problems in Shiba or they was unhappy or anything like that. We're going to build this bridge and bring them over, and it worked. Yeah, people start coming over. Everybody didn't come over, but they had people come over, or they bought a bag or didn't buy a bag, and they were just chilling. So that's what happened. So that one Saitama tweet that rocked the boat, absolutely, it did rock the boat. It rocked my sleep. I should have did things differently. I should have looked into it early more. I should have did things a little differently. But hey, I learned a valuable lesson. I should have just looked into it more, done more research, and then kind of like, all right, let me put this out. Because she was sitting right behind me like a hawk. She was like, I don't think you should do that. I was like, nah, I was like, I'm doing that. But I didn't realize what it would do. So, but that's my story. And it happened, sticking to it. And, that's what happens. True story. I got nothing to hide. Nothing. I'm not hiding anything. And then, I'm putting on me where I ignore things that I shouldn't have ignored. And I'm like, I shouldn't ignore this. So, but that's all I got. But guys, what I want you to do is don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to this channel here. And then be proud of what you own. Like if you own whatever you own, be proud of it. Don't ignore certain things. If you're hearing things, check them out. Just don't dump your bag or add your bag. Check it out. Really legitly check it out. And honestly, some of this stuff is now hard to really check out. I mean, you can go in the Discord group, you can go to Telegram, go to Twitter. You may research YouTube. Maybe somebody found something, look at it. So just look and see what you have. Don't always go by Johnny said it on YouTube or Jennifer said it on Twitter. Actually look into it, because then you are for sure on what you need to do next. And it maybe add more to your position, because I'm telling you, certain things, projects that I own, I heard negative stuff, and found out it wasn't true, and it was bringing the price down, because some people do that. I was like, all right, I'm going to add to my position, because this ain't real. So, and that's what I found. Like, it wasn't really real. I was like, you know what? I'm going to add to my position on here. So sometimes you can do that and learn from it. Crypto is still very young, guys. It's still very young. It's still very volatile, obviously. And I think the projects that can get the average person that don't know about it into that project, you got something. That's the thing. And the ones that really, like, you knew about it, like the Shiba, Saitamas, the Dogecoin, they got it. They got hype. I get hype from the media. I get that. They did. But they also got it from guy down the street. I got the Saitama Wolf. Still don't know how he got it. He had it right in his wallet, and he was proud of that thing. I got my he kept saying, I got reflections. I got reflections. I'm getting reflections. Refresh the page. He kept saying that. But anyway, that's what's up. Just follow your investments. Be proud of it. If you need to make a decision, make a decision. That decision could be add, hold, sell, whatever. So, and then just look into yourself, because I didn't do it. And I probably should have done it. I'm just letting you know, I should have looked into it. I didn't do it. And I ended up hurting myself, not really looking into it, just ignoring stuff. So, wow. If XRP comes in, that will be something. That will be something. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Next live. We'll try to go live tomorrow around the same time. If it's not tomorrow, it'll definitely be next week. And I got a really another thing to share with you as well. And I'll talk to you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. The captain, always take action. See you in the next video.